Hi guys, welcome back to Shanificent. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy. Thank you. Um, Today, let's talk about strength. Let's talk about strength because strength, something I think people don't realize a lot is that sometimes, okay, I think true strength looks like weakness. Sometimes. True strength accepts weakness. I think a lot of the time we always want to come off strong. Like, who doesn't love appearing strong and like their best, most impressive selves in front of other people? Who doesn't like being seen in good light by other people? We all do. So I get it. I get wanting to feel strong all the time. But the truth is that we're not. Are you strong all the time? Are you? Because I'm not. I know I'm not. And I also know that my strength comes from the times when I'm weak. It actually comes from the times when I'm down bad, my flop eras, as you could call them. I think we naturally have times when we're down, when we're not great, when we're not our best selves, we're not our strongest selves, we're not our toughest selves. There are times when we feel scared or we feel like we don't have a hold on anything and we don't understand anything. And there are times when we feel like nothing makes sense anymore. Just those tough times. Maybe we've lost someone in our lives that was close to us or that meant something to us, or just something intense has happened that has just made us feel tender, because those times are when we feel most tender. We don't feel strong and brave and courageous, and we feel small and tender and maybe a little bit tiny and like maybe a little bit incapable. And I'm here to tell you that that's okay. That's okay. That's a completely natural part of life. And I think we need to embrace them more. We need to embrace those periods of time more, because what I see often is people wanting to be strong all the time to maintain strength throughout the whole time. But that's just unrealistic. It just doesn't happen that way, because true strength is built in those times when you're your weakest self, actually, because those times are honestly they're rich. They're actually very rich, and I think because we never see in media, on TV, in movies, on social media, we never see anyone in their down era. We never see anyone in their down era. Or when we do, they look pathetic. Like they're presented in a way where it's like it looks pathetic and there's nothing good for it. We never get to see someone in the glory of their down era. And you might be like, what does that even mean? The glory of your down era? Surely to be in your down era is just to be down and to be at your worst and just to be unimpressive. But no, the glory of your down era is to be in your quietness and in the vastness and the depth of your quietness. I mean, I like to think that your down era is when you come and watch the kind of videos I make, when you come and watch my videos in your down era. That's when your down era is a time when you're actually more humble, and because you're more humble, you're more available to more. You're just more available to things, to parts of yourself and experiences in life and people and ways of thinking and ways of being that you wouldn't usually be available to, that you're not available to when you're feeling your best and you're feeling gassed and you're feeling better than everyone else. So remember what I said in my humility video. My video, it's called So You've Been Humble. Check it out if you haven't. I said, when you're nothing, you're everything. So when you're in your down era, you're more available to my videos. Fantastic. Fantastic. No, but seriously, like, you're more available to know yourself more. It's like, okay, maybe you've just lost someone, and whether that's like someone's passed away, or maybe you've lost a friend, you've just you've become distant from someone, just someone has left your life that you care about. That shows you what that person meant to you. That shows you what your relationship to friendship, what your relationship to relationship is like. So how you feel about relationships, how you feel about having people in your life, what role do they play, what do they do for you? It shows you more of yourself. It reveals more of yourself to you. And through going through that period of realizing that, like, oh wow, friendship actually means a lot to me. I used to think I was someone who didn't need people and didn't need friends, but I clearly do. Like I do, because losing that person meant way more to me than I thought it would, and it's hurt me or affected me way more than I thought it would. So now you know that, and now you can when you sit in that space, of, it's kind of like a meditation, a very long meditation or rumination. It's when you're more quiet, you're more reserved. Maybe you want to spend more time alone. Maybe you want to spend more time just on the couch, curled up, whatever, watching comfort shows and stuff. But during that time, you're realizing more about yourself, and you can take that. And eventually, I'm telling you, you'll come back up. No one stays down forever. Or do they? I think the people who commit to strength the entire time are actually staying down the entire time. Honestly, I know that's a harsh truth, but it's just how I see it. Because you see, if you never enter into your down era, you never allow yourself to just be in your down era, then you're in the illusion of strength. You're in the illusion of an up era. That's not a real up era, when you're not allowing yourself to accept that sometimes you're scared. When you're scared, or you're hurt, or you're you've been humbled or whatever. If you don't accept that, and you don't accept those feelings inside yourself, then they actually imprison you. You actually end up staying there the whole time. So those are the kinds of people who are in the down era the whole time, the people who are committed to showing up strong and to appearing strong to everyone else. And those kinds of people, or those of you, or those of us, I'll say, those of us who feel like we have to show up strongly for other people, we have to show up our best selves and have to show up strongly all the time, we're doing it for other people. We're doing it for other people. You're doing it for other people. You're doing it for your image. And like, please remember that image it's like click, it's an image. It's a 2D picture of you. It's not supposed to encompass all of you. It's not supposed to, and it doesn't encompass all of you. Ideally, it's supposed to be an honest snapshot of who you are, an honest sort of small representation of who you are. So those are the kinds of people who are down all the time. Like, isn't that crazy? That's an illusion. So being strong all the time is the illusion of strength. Being strong all the time, that's the illusion of strength, because you're actually in your down era all the time. Whereas the people who yield to their down era and surrender to their down era and just accept, look, I know it's tough. It's very humbling. It will require you to check out my video so you've been humbled. Yes, I'm plugging that again. But that video is supposed to help ease the transition from feeling high and mighty to entering your down era. It'll require, it's tough. It's tough to get there, but you're being asked to accept it. You're being asked to yield to your down era. And when you do that, then you can just be in your darkness, just be in your sadness, just be in your despair, be in all of it. That's why the self-care comes in. Self-care is essential during these times, because you don't want to, the reason why we struggle to accept and yield to our despair or our sadness or our anger or whatever is because we think it might kill us. Quite frankly, we think it might eat us up. We think we won't come out of it. That's why we're scared to accept it. But trust that you will, because I know that you will. You will. And how you make yourself feel more comfortable or feel more safe to be sad is self-care practices, So like I said in my last video, I talked about your emotional needs, like knowing your emotional needs, knowing what makes you feel safe and comfortable. You can do those things more, Like for me, it's just like, okay, it means I want to spend a lot of time in bed. on my bed, lying down, sleeping, blankets, you know, I want to spend even more time alone. So knowing what you need to support you during these times where you're not your best self is essential. It's essential, and that's what's going to take you back to the top, you know? Because these times are just really important. And just remember that they're just as important as your up era, basically. Your down era is just as important as your up era. Just as important, if not more. We're not just our best selves, we're also our worst selves. I talked about that in There's No Such Thing as a Good or Bad Person. We're not just our best selves, we're also our worst selves. And our worst selves have just as much to offer us as our best selves, honestly. And if you're only trying to be your best self, then you end up only being your worst self, which is what I was saying earlier. So yeah, this is just my reminder that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be okay, and allow this time of not feeling okay to show you more about yourself. Allow it to be a time where you learn more about yourself. Maybe it's the stuff that it's harder to hear about yourself or harder to accept about yourself, but it's yourself nonetheless. And like, look, my videos are here, my energy is here for you in these times. So, you know, and there are so many other people like me making content like me on the internet. So also, you know, rely on use those people, rely on those people putting out content that just makes you feel good. In those times, like, lean into what feels safe and what feels good, while accepting that you don't feel safe and you don't feel good. I know it's a little bit tricky, but it's possible. It's possible, and it's the goal. In my eyes, it's the goal. True strength is sometimes weak, and you're not just your best self, you're your worst self. And it's okay to be your worst self, and it's okay to not be okay. I wish you all the best if you're going through one of these times right now. Use it to learn more about yourself. Use it to get closer to yourself. And you won't be down forever. I know you won't be down forever. If you feel all those feelings, allow yourself to be down, eventually you'll be back up. I know that for sure. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope it offered you something, and it gave you something. Please like and subscribe. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you'd like. Yeah, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.